Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of True Crime with Tiff Kline. And this week, I wanted to cover the Chillicothe Murders, also known as Ohio's Vanishing Women, also known as the Chillicothe Six. Chillicothe is a very small southern town in southern Ohio. I grew up in southern Ohio from 1999 to 2009, and about an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours from Chillicothe, maybe a little less. So when they say small rural town, I grew up that way. I get it. I get that you have maybe one neighbor within a mile. You go to a school where you have the same teachers, 9th through 12th grade, one Walmart in the entire county, an hour and a half drive to the nearest mall, no local bakeries or coffee shops or New York style pizza. Everything is sporadic and you don't live in convenience. You live within necessity. So I'm going to cover the Chillicothe case of the 6 women who went missing. And between 2014 and 2015, they disappeared or they were found dead under suspicious circumstances. These women were daughters, mothers, sisters, all loved and all gone too soon. The story of the Chillicothe cases begins in the spring of 2014 in southern Ohio. Between May of 2014 and mid-2015, 6 women vanished or they were found dead, many under eerily similar circumstances. Charlotte Eliza Trego, date missing, May 3rd, 2014, age 27 or 28. Her mother dropped her off at an apartment in Chillicothe. She never returned or made contact after that. As of today, she is still missing. She had struggled with heroin addiction. She had tattoos, a Playboy bunny, and this was noted in a missing persons flyer. Another victim, Tamika Lynch, her body was found May 24th, 2014, after going missing in May. She was 30 years old and a mother of 3. She was found on a sandbar in Paint Creek by kayakers. Her death was ruled as a drug overdose, undetermined by some official statements, though her family contests key detail. Her mother stated that her daughter was afraid of water, so she would not voluntarily have gone into a creek, suggesting foul play. Wanda Lemons went missing November 3rd or 4th, 2015, age around 37, 38, and a mother of 5. She had not contacted family for weeks. People close to her say she may have been intending to travel. Some reports mention Texas. As of today, she's still missing. Asta Hillerick went missing December 26, 2014. Her body was found January 2nd, 2015 in the Scioto River. She was 20 years old. She was pregnant at the time. Her car was found abandoned on a bridge. The coroner declared her death as suicide by drowning. Her loved ones strongly dispute that. They do not believe it was suicide, pointing to her recent joy about her pregnancy in suspicious circumstances. Tiffany Sayre went missing May 11th, 2015. Her body was found and identified on June 20th, between June 20th and 2015. Found wrapped in a blanket or a sheet, cause of death was left undetermined in many reports. She had struggled with addiction. Earlier in her life, she had made a video thanking her family to support and trying for her to recover. Kimberly Claytor, found May 29th, 2015, 38 years old, mother of 5. Found in Masseyville, near Chillicothe, shot in the head 3 times. A grand jury later indicted Jason McGrary, 37, for her murder. At the end of the period, 4 of the 6 women had been found dead. 2, Charlotte Trego and Wanda Lemons, remained missing. Almost from the start, local media and families observed patterns, similar social circles. Many of these women had ties to addiction, sex work, and overlapping acquaintances. Bodies, for those found, were located in or near bodies of water, creeks, rivers, drainage areas. Some bodies were wrapped or partially concealed. By mid-2015, whispers of serial predator started to swirl, but law enforcement publicly maintained they had no clear evidence, yet tying all of the cases to a single person. As the number of missing and dead women mounted, officials began to treat the cases more seriously. But from day one, they faced huge challenges. Local police in Chillicothe, the Ross County Sheriff's Office, and Ohio State investigators teamed up. The FBI was brought in to assist with forensic profiling and broader investigative capacity. Tip lines and flyers were circulated, and local officials held community rallies pledging renewed focus. In mid-2015, a reinvestment initiative was announced, increased patrols, zero tolerance for drug trafficking and prostitution in certain zones, and renewed push for leads. Local media coverage, including CNN, CBS, AP, The Washington Post, drew national attention, raising pressure. Despite these efforts, investigators repetitively emphasized that the evidence was fragmentary. The investigation so far has not been produced by any evidence that the missing females and deceased females are tied to any one person. From Lieutenant Mike Preston, Ross County Sheriff's Department. 15. A grand jury indicted Jason McCrary for the slaying of Timberly Clater, the victim found that was shot 3 times in her head. McCrary was classified as a repeat violent offender under Ohio law and was convicted sex offender. That is perhaps the only death in the Chillicothe set that has a formal name suspect. However, no publicly known evidence has definitively tied McCrary to other disappearances or deaths. In late 2015, Ernest Moore, 39, turned himself in and was indicted on kidnapping and assault charges. However, authorities stated that those charges were not directly related to the missing women cases, and Moore was not considered a primary prospect or person of interest. An intriguing, but as yet unconfirmed, possible link is a serial murder suspect, Neil Falls, who was killed in West Virginia in 2015 by a woman he attempted to abduct. Investigators checked whether Falls had connections to the Chillicothe area, but as those reports, no concrete evidence tied him to these cases. Nonetheless, the possibility of a traveling predator crossing state lines gave some investigation and investigators pause. Multiple perpetrators. Law enforcement has suggested that it's possible more than one person is responsible, perhaps in overlapping but not fully identical ways. Prostitution, drug crime gone wrong. Since many victims had drug histories or reported sex work involvement, one hypothesis is that these disappearances and deaths stem from transactional violence or exploitation. Robberies, trafficking, local drug disputes. For families and community members, the similarities in victim profile, geography, and disposal site suggest a pattern. Serial predator targeting vulnerable women. Some observers have speculated connections to other missing persons in Ohio or along interstate corridors, although no confirmed links have been publicized. As these cases unfolded, the families became public voices, pushing for answers, visibility, and justice. Mothers, sisters, daughters held candlelight vigils, protests, marches, and media outreach. The Chillicothe Gazette and other regional media extensively covered each development. Local rallies and law enforcement statements. National outlets, CNN, The Washington Post, CBS News, picked up the story mid-2015, bringing broader public pressure and speculation. Some family members have explicitly stated that they believe the local authorities initially dismissed their loved ones because they were addicts or involved in prostitution. They might not have received the urgency other victims might have. Community fears spiked. Residents locked their doors, avoided certain roads, and rumors of a serial killer circulated widely. In 2015, the city of officials promised a renewed crackdown on prostitution and drug activity in hotspots, part of the public safety response. So, after years of investigation, what is resolved? What remains unanswered? Timberly Clater's murder. The strongest public lead is the indictment of Jason McCrary, who has been charged in her death. Sustained attention and renewed efforts, local law enforcement continues to accept tips, re-examine cold leads, and coordinate with state and federal agencies. Community awareness. These women's stories remain in the public eye, with media platforms occasionally revisiting the cases and families keeping their names alive. No confirmed linkage between all cases. Investigators have never publicly confirmed that all 6 cases stem from one individual or one single serial pattern. Charlotte Trego and Wanda Lemons remain missing, with no known remains or conclusive evidence tying them to a suspect. Cause of death has been undetermined for several. For some of the deceased, the official cause are ambiguous or contested, leaving open whether homicidal violence was involved. As of the last major reports, there's little public disclosure on DNA breakthroughs, forensic linkages, or major new admissions. Figures like Neil Falls have been speculated upon, but without confirmed evidence. Some family members and observers continue to criticize law enforcement's early handling, urging that bias against victims with addictions or histories allowed key leads to be overlooked. I know this episode is shorter than most. I have not felt good the past few days, so I won't be doing an hour episode, but I just wanted to shine some light on this case, as I am from Southern Ohio and it is always circulating to this day. I am right now in Northeast Pennsylvania, and my dad had sent me this case to remind me, and I decided this week, since I didn't get to do a full podcast, I would do a short 15-minute episode on the Chillicothe 6. It's very heartbreaking that all of these women may or may not have been connected. They may have been judged by their background, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, their careers. Tamika, Tiffany, Wanda, Rebecca, Shasta, Megan. Say their names, share their stories, because when we talk about them, they live on. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you or someone you know is missing or in danger, please reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. You are not alone. Again, that's 1-800-799-SAFE, or you can visit them at thehotline.org. I hope that these women get the justice and dignity they deserve. I hope their parents get some type of peace. I don't like the word closure because I don't feel like you ever get closure, but look into these cases. Let's try to get them back in the spotlight because it is odd, but they're all in the same area, same kind of disappearance, same lack of answers. With Jason McCreary being indicted, I mean, he may have done the others, but there's no evidence or concrete proof that he had anything to do with the rest, just with the Timberly Clater case. I just would like to send out my condolences and thoughts and prayers to the victims and the victim families of the Chillicothe Six. And I hope there will be justice. Thank you for listening, and tune in next week as we're going to go over the case of missing woman Alexandria Lowitzer. You might know her mother from Hope for Allie on TikTok and Facebook. She was at CrimeCon. I was going to do hers this week, but I didn't want to rush it, so I'm going to release that one next week or the week after. There's some things I still need to research. But if you are interested in learning more about the Chillicothe Six, you can contact the Ross County Sheriff's Office, and you can always just Google their names: Charlotte, Tamika, Wanda, Shasta, Tiffany, and Timberly. Until next week, thank you so much. Remember, you can follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all at True Crime Tiff Kline or Tiff Kline, all with K's, and Kline's Corner with K's. I'm looking forward to talking to more of you. A lot of you have added me and sending me cases, and it's much appreciated. And I just want to give a shout out here, as always. It is October, so it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Gabby Petito's parents, the Schmidts and Petitos, are out there kicking ass and taking names and changing laws and doing trainings and teaching and seminars, and they're amazing, all because their daughter, Gabby Petito, touched the world and saved a lot of lives, and they're continuing. If you need resources or need help, please go to the GabbyPetitoFoundation.org, and there's a list of resources that they can help with. And you can also go to the hotline.org for the National Domestic Violence website with lots of resources as well. And again, that number is 1-800, and I wish you all safety until we meet again.